Hello and welcome back. A really short break. I'm back here to provide you with some more content. And up next, we got Grym Titan Studios, and I believe I'll be talking to Greg from the development team about their game. So I'm really excited to see what they got in store for us. Remember about the ProtoPlay hashtag, share the stream, give exposure to your games perhaps if you're one of the devs in the chat, or just in general, if you really like one of the games, feel free to share it and use the hashtag ProtoPlay. And you can also vote on your favorite game, who's gonna be voted the audience's favorite game on the ProtoPlay website right there. Or if you scroll down, if you click on the ProtoPlay panel, it's gonna take you directly to the website if you don't want to bother typing. Anyways, let's get on with it. Here we go. Hello, hello.
Hi, Bartek. Thanks for having me.
Hi there. Absolutely, it's a pleasure. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Bit nervous. I don't really like being on speaking live.
Okay.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Everyone can hear you perfectly. You can just close the stream. Let's just have a chat about your game. Don't worry about it. Just feel comfortable, you know? Okay, so I've introduced you already, but if you could go ahead, introduce yourself and then your team and your game and what genre you're trying to get into with the project.
Right. Well, I'm Greg. In the chat possibly is Matthew, who's feeling a bit unwell today. We also have Matty and Kieran ready to answer any questions in there. And our game is Archenaut. It's a third-person stealth adventure game where set in a steampunk-inspired galaxy where they will be infiltrating robot-controlled bases to try and steal as much as they possibly can and then bring it back to the survivors of the human race, really.
Awesome. What a noble task they got.
Well, you're going around stealing stuff, so it's not that noble, but it's for a good cause.
Yeah, I suppose. Gameplay wise, I must say the graphics are looking good. How much time did you have to develop the game?
It was actually quite a while because this is our third year university project. So we have been working on this for probably about a year now, or a little bit less. The planning stage started in October last year. So yeah, it's almost pretty much working up to a year now. So there's quite a lot of time and effort gone into it.
Damn. Okay. How did it start then? What was the inspiration like when you started, when you pitched it to each other as a team, right? What was the first concept of the game, and where did the idea come from?
Well, the first concept of the game was something completely different to this. It has changed so much to what we were originally planning. The first one was going to be almost a puzzler game where you're working in darkness trying to restore the light, like controlling moving power where you needed it. And it's somehow managed to get us onto a space station fighting against robots. It's really different from where we originally planned it. The art style started as a blend of diesel punk and steampunk, and that's basically what our artists wanted to make. For the gameplay, it was all about well, basically what we wanted, because at the time there was 6 of us on the project, and we wanted, and we're very foolish in the regard. We wanted to challenge, so we thought we'd go for something difficult, like
scope huge and then
adventure.
trim it down.
Yeah. In hindsight, it was you do it the other way around. You make it simple and build it up, but it's all worked out pretty nicely in the end. We've got I think a nice polished demo, and it looks great.
Certainly, it's quite impressive, yeah. Someone is complimenting on your UI, which I just realized is obviously the UI, which is the backpack, which I believe one of these is it a health bar, and what's the other one? I don't expect it to be mana, right? It's not a lizard that we are playing.
No, it's the blue one is the energy bar. The green bar is your player's health. The little symbol on the back is the type of grenade you currently have equipped. Along with the green bars in the circle, they say how many you have. And then you see another green bar along the top of the backpack, and that's how many health packs you're currently carrying. And we were inspired by is it Dead Space?
Yeah,
I
so
wasn't
someone actually
sure.
said in the chat
Um,
that Dead Space backpack, you know?
yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
definitely. And the you can see Cass 111, that's Kieran. He was in charge of the UI decisions, and he wanted, because it was a stealth game, and obviously you're keeping an eye around you. You don't want to be looking to the top left while you've got a robot creeping up on your right. So he wanted everything in the middle of the screen, right where the player could see it.
Yeah, no,
So
great job with this UI solution. When I started watching the footage, it obviously was there, and I will expect it to be like health and some form of energy, but I didn't take it as UI. It's just blending in nicely with the gameplay, is what I'm trying to say. So great
yeah,
job with that.
yeah,
Eh,
thank you.
is that something you are most proud of from the game, or maybe you personally? What's the your favorite? Maybe it could be something niche that you managed to produce that you're very happy with in the project.
I mean, personally, I'm a programmer, so most of the mechanics are a mixture of me and um, Matthew. Um, and one of the hard, I mean, it's silly really. Some of the hardest things were like getting the different. You can see all the items in the world. They've got this highlight that comes up in a different color. That was surprisingly difficult to do. Um, it took me a while to find the proper tutorials to teach me how to do that. So
Okay.
that's one of the things I'm happiest with. Um, but yeah, it's just so many different things that go into this game. Um, yeah, I think we can get the guys in the chat to just let us know what their favorite parts were, maybe.
Oh, we could do that, guys. If there is anything you see on the screen that you find just lovely, make sure to just say it. Give the developers some love. Yeah. um, what about things that you would change if you had the opportunity?
Um,
Let's say you have
possibly.
one more week to do something with the game. What would be the first thing you try to look at?
Well, actually, I can give you a very good example based on this video. Is that when we were doing we built the game as solid as we could. We were expecting obviously the live play option to happen, and the version of the game you're watching now is actually from two versions ago.
Oh, okay.
Um, so we actually have quite a few updates in the demo that people can download from our rich page. The well, Kieran was more explosive drones, of course. Um, you'll see an example of that very shortly, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, and the changes that got made, like the puzzles you'll see, there are um, in this video there is just a generic two of them, and no spoilers are going to be coming because the puzzles change in the actual game.
I see.
Um, we've added far more particles and graphics, so we apologise to your GPU. Um, the and also the subtitles you occasionally see on the screen, they are now fully audio. So I mean that's something we wanted to do actually. Oh, that's actually a very good point. A much better tutorial area. That was definitely very high on our list.
I see. There we go.
Um, and because our plans changed quite a few times, and the area we had set up for teaching the player on the offset, um, that sort of got shuffled back and forth, and it never really got finalized. So if there's one thing I was going to change, it would definitely be a proper tutorial area to just ease the players in.
I see. Could you talk to me about security levels? Someone said in the chat the security level 5 plus is quite amusing. How are the security levels different and how do they increase? Based on what exactly?
Right, well, the idea is originally that you are sneaking into the station and you've got to be stealthy about it. You can see these purple bars around their sensors that detect when you arrive. The little flying drone. This is security level 5, by the way.
Okay, there we go.
If you're wearing headphones right now, I recommend taking them and pulling them away from your head a little bit. It's going to get loud.
I can
If
turn
you
it down for our viewers just in case.
um, There was a little pre-warning there, but the security levels is when you first enter the game, you're on security level 0. They've got no idea you're there. You got the little drone that flies around that will be watching out for you. The purple bars, when you go through them, they record it, and all of your actions slowly build up your alert level. So, and each time you hit certain levels, level 1 activates those big spider-like robots that walk around and patrol, and security level 5 activates the Suicide Squad. I think they're going at the moment is those flashing the red drones that fly around that carry explosive payloads, and the second one of them sees you, he tells all of his friends exactly where you are, and they all converge, and then you hear this lovely beep, 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 and then a very loud boom.
That is quite funny. Okay, it's gonna be a very abstract question, but did you take any inspiration from Minecraft's creepers for that?
No, not that one. I mean, basically, I think the idea of just coming towards you, beep, 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 boom, is a very common thing.
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, I think actually Kieran was the one who's really been pushing for it, so he can explain what his main inspiration was. But for the look and feel of the drones, we went quite a Bioshock feel. So, and it's all steampunk, but for the look of the robots, it's quite Bioshocky.
Let's touch a bit more on the gameplay. How does the progression system work in the game? Because there are of course the security levels, which you ideally would want to keep low. But how does the level and how can the player progress?
This one is a sandbox level, basically, for it. In that regard, is the idea is that you enter the station, you would explore around to find the things you need, primarily the energy, but by stealing everything else, you also build up credits, which would then, when you get back to the hub level, you would be able to spend on upgrades to make the next run a little bit easier.
Okay.
For the each level is was intended to be, you go in, you grab quickly, you get out. The replayability factor comes from the fact that in a perfect run, you're getting in and out without being too much security level. So you wouldn't get chance to see everything perhaps on your first run. So maybe you'd have to go back and try somewhere else. Because if you see the clock tower in the middle, it's counting down, and between either your actions or the time limit running out, that's the security level hits 5, and then it becomes a very dangerous place to be.
So I'm seeing like a pattern of where you are taking design, because I was under the impression at first that it would be levels you complete, but it seems there is a lot of emphasis on replayability, especially with the randomized puzzles and some of the spawns. And I suppose all the robots spawn in different places as well.
No, they are. That's the one thing we had to try and keep reliable, because with a stealth game, you have to at least give the player a bit of a chance to figure out what the patterns are. So the robots spawn in. They start in the same place, and they will follow the same path. So if you're going for the completely stealthy approach, it is possible to get in, grab everything, and get out whilst keeping your security level at 0. I say possible. It is exceptionally difficult. We have not made it easy for the player in the slightest.
Yeah, possible doesn't mean easy, right?
Yeah. So yeah, if you completely avoid the drone flying around, you don't walk through anything but the bare basic purple bar at the entrance, and you can collect enough energy to get in and out completely silently. So we had to make sure that if the players were going to go for that approach, which is what we originally wanted, was for the stealthy, sneaky approach, that it was in fact possible without by watching the robots, using your skills to you see the pulse used on occasion, which tells you where the bad guys are, and you've got the detection meter, so you can get in and out without being detected at all.
I see. Cool.
So you had to give the players a bit of a chance, and the robots follow a set path as they go around.
Well, about giving a player a chance, how is the player? I know the player is collecting credits as they go, right? Are they penalized for getting, well, essentially blown up by the robots at times? So does the round end then? What
Um,
happens if that's the case?
well, there's two outcomes at the moment. Basically, you either collect the energy you need and you get back to the ship and then you survive, or you don't survive and then you just get a lovely game over screen with a robot standing over your body taunting you.
Oh,
Um,
so it's actual game over if you actually get caught.
yeah,
I see.
um, yeah, it's a bit brutal on that front, but and you obviously you would just get to replay the level perhaps, but if you do get if your health runs out, you do die, and then you have to start over. It'll be like reset to start of level. Um, sorry, try again.
I see.
Um,
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna change the topic a little bit. Let's talk about your team, Transfuser, and the development. So you mentioned that this was your third year project. You've spent about a year developing it. But how was it? How was the development once you actually became part of Transfuser and decided to participate in it and ProtoPlay? Did the scope change? Did you have to make any drastic project changes, or was the scope right on track? How's that for you?
there haven't been too many huge changes. The people from Transfuser, especially our facilitator, they did help us a lot out in basically scaling back our ambitions. Um, because one problem we do have on the team is that we are very perfectionists. It's we spent far too long trying to get just this bit looking right, a bit more detail, the
I see.
dirt on the walls, making it all look exactly how we want it. And you've suddenly realised you're spending far too much time on this aspect of the game.
Yeah,
Um, and with the amount of time it took us to make this one level, our original plans were have um, two levels and a hub level for the player to run through. Um, and our facilitator basically just looked at our plans and went, "No, you're not going to do
wow.
this. Um, scale it back, get really make this one level as good as you can, and make it you're happy with it." And yeah, that's I mean that's basically what they've taught us is just bring it back and um, try and make this really nice. But yeah, everyone in Transfuser's been great for helping us out, and I'd say the biggest difference is that the game is more polished now. Which if we'd gone with our original plans, it might not be as good. There'd probably be more of it, but it would be more of less, if that makes sense.
I see. All right. What about the influence from the community of Transfuser itself?
Um, well, actually, quite a few changes have happened on that one as well. One thing that I mean, we're quite early in the development, one team put a demo up on the Transfuser Discord channel, and it was like, "Ooh, good idea." So we followed suit, and because we had already been working on it for a while, we had our own demo, so we threw that up as well, and we got some more play testers from the Transfuser teams, and they were great in helping us. We've had several overhauls in how the game looks and the lighting aspect of it. Um, and there's like they were saying it was too dark. We don't understand this little bit, and um, I think it was too graphical intensive with the motion blur on, so we've had to turn that off.
I see. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, the feedback we've had from them and everyone has been great in helping. Because obviously, with the COVID and everything, you don't get to just grab people and put them in front of the game to see how it all works. So the online community has been fantastic in helping us doing that testing that we've been missing out on.
Awesome. That's really great to hear. It's amazing to see the contribution of other developers uh, to your own project, which is great. Shout out to everyone who helped out to get this where it's at. Um, what about the target audience? Because we are getting like almost like a very almost like a horror themed game. Obviously, when you see all the robots coming at you, it's less mysterious and stuff. But yeah, definitely with the Dead Space vibes. What target market would you be looking at with this project?
We actually had a marketing student or business student with us at the beginning of the project, which we were quite lucky with, and they did a lot of the market research for us, and they told us the best markets to aim for would be like 14 to 33-year-olds. But as we've gone through the project and made slight changes, we are reasonably sure that just about anyone could enjoy it. We don't actually consider it a horror game. It's supposed to be more of an an adventure game. But obviously, you try not to make it too scary, and even given the ability to know where everyone is with the pulse thing, you still get those moments where you, as seen in the video later, you walk around a corner and there's a giant robot there with a really big gun, and it's a little bit scary at that moment. Or
Yeah,
when
that
you
guy
open
is.
the
Yeah, he's quite the
or
quite the persona in this level. Yeah,
or
definitely has a
when
lot of presence. Yeah.
yes, and also when um you open up the door and then you see the 20 blinking red explosive drones. It
Wrong
wasn't
way,
intended.
definitely wrong way.
Yeah,
Turn around.
yeah. It wasn't intended to be scary and horror, but obviously you get that impression very, very quickly when you're suddenly faced with these terrifying things in front of you. But yeah, well, basically for sorry, I've gone a little bit off tangent there. Yeah, our target audience is supposed to be just anyone who enjoys it, because you can play this game. You can play it in the speed run style. You can play it, try and blast your way through. You can try and be sneaky. So we think it's just about anyone could enjoy it, and there's also people can just come along and if they like steampunk, just explore around and enjoy the cool looking things that we've made.
Yeah, yeah. Just to clarify where I came from by pitching in the concept that it to me felt like a horror game. I guess the feeling I get is more like the adrenaline of having to survive and get away from all these robots, and I think what kind of put this idea in my head was the visuals as well, that I kind of associated it with sort of mystery, going from one room to another, and yeah. Also, just from a player's point of view, I think a great job on creating that contrast because you have a lot of small rooms, but then you go out and there is this huge open space with the clock in the middle. So that's job well done there as well.
Yeah, the small rooms are obviously it's one thing we're actually trying to avoid that sort of thing, because if you do get caught by the robot and he pins you in those rooms, it very quickly becomes the game over screen. But yeah, we wanted these little nooks and crannies to try and grab things, just hidden stuff away. In the next version of the game, which is on our website, you'll see that quite a few things have moved around and there are different spots hidden here and there. But I've completely lost track of where I was going there. Oops.
You were discussing the rooms and how they
Yeah.
are. You didn't want them to be too small.
Yeah. It's obviously if you're trying to avoid something and you see all those little bedrooms you got on the main residential area, you can sort of hide in there from the robot that walks back and forth. But yeah, in the big atrium, we wanted, and this was actually the advice of our tutor when we were originally making it. It was originally going to be like a ring station, but he recommended no, you want a big visual space, and you walk in, and then you got this like the vista in front of you of the very deluxe big open arena. And it also came from Matthew when he was doing his testing on how the stealth system and the AI would work back at the beginning. He made like a small arena level where it was get across it and collect things, and doing the play testing on how the AI would react to the player. It was really fun. It was surprising that actually just having like low walls and quite big open spaces and still trying to sneak around and not be seen. It worked really well and it was quite enjoyable. So we definitely wanted to include that, and that's where the big atrium came from, really.
I see.
So
I see. Thank you for the insights. I really appreciate it. Gives a lot of background to how the development evolved really as you were going through it. Um, we talked about the feedback you got from the teams and how that helped you. What about player feedback? People who, just saw your game and wanted to try it out.
well, we've had the build up on itch for quite a while now, and it's always been an open thing that it is there, and we would like people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing we've seen other teams doing is that they all have their own personal Discord servers, and really regret not having our own because it seems like a fantastic idea.
Yes.
We've always had, like, you could email us. You do have the itch posts that you can make, but we never really got a lot from those areas.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing we did do is that we went back to our university Discord and our friends and family, and basically kidnapped them and put them onto the game and said, "Here, play this, and tell us what you think." So we put we actually had a couple of people playing it, like streaming it, while we were watching and figuring out what they were doing. And that has always been really, really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one, I think I mentioned it earlier, it's when you don't watching a player play your game is both rewarding and terrifying, because they are going to find things that you didn't know were there.
Yeah.
I mean, when we walk around here there's actually a room on the other side where it was going to be like a staircase going up and down, but we didn't put that in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But so we closed the room. You can't possibly get in there. It won't open. The door won't open when you get there. But we found out that the robots can still open it.
Oh.
And one of our players, as he was running around, bumped into the robot on that corner. The robot opened the door, pushed him in, and then the door closed. It's that door ahead of the player right now.
Well, the robot certainly outplayed him.
Yeah, and when you get in there, you just can't get out. So it's that's that sort of thing. We never anticipated that could even happen. So it was a bit crazy. And he's like, panic, quick, dive back into the build and fix that immediately.
Yeah.
And that experience from players playing the game was always great. Is that you find out what you're not explaining well, what's the what needs to change, what they really enjoy, and what we could like ramp up a bit.
Yeah.
And is it too hard or too easy? Because one of our team, when you're playing it, you breeze through the game. You know exactly where the robots are. You know how they react. You know exactly where you can shoot them from, and they don't really know. And then we have fixed that, so you can't do that. I'm watching you, chat.
I see. Yeah,
no,
player feedback is definitely extremely valuable, and it helps you discover as developers those things that when you are making the games, like, I've put a wall up there. There is no way anyone can discover this room I'm still working on, right? And then, like you said, there is a robot who has the secret key you never knew of, and there they go. It's open. Our interview actually has to come to a close shortly. So just anything else you would like to discuss really quick, and any shout-outs you would like to give?
I'd like to encourage everyone to go and download the game from the platform, because there are, as I said, there's a few changes that came up in the last few versions. Shout out to Kieran, Matty, and Matt out there in the chat, keeping an eye on them. They've done a great job, and they've been a pleasure to work with most of the time. I'd like to shout out to Glyndwr University. Rich, our tutor there, has been great in helping us. The facilitator, Laura, she was great. And everyone at Transfuser for setting this all up and giving us this opportunity. And finally, of course, thank you, Bartek, for having me.
Of course, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoy talking to all of the teams and sort of getting the insights really, and having you guys sort of talk me through how the project became what it is today. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for everything that you have contributed to the stream content, really. And yeah, I hope to hear about the game in the future.
Yeah. Right. Have a good day.
Take care. Okay, guys, we're gonna be going on a short break. If you'd like to find out more about the game from Grym Titan Studios, make sure to check out the links in the chat. Or if it happens so that the links are all the way up because the chat has continued, then make sure to type ! with the team name, which in this case was Grym Titan Studios. Okay, we're gonna be back online with our next team, which is Celtic Dragon Studio, after a short break, about 8 minutes, and we are right back on. Grab snacks, any drinks you need, or if you need to stretch, whatever you need to do, do it during the break, and then we're gonna be right back online. See you soon.